Hello everyone. My name is Dasit, and this is a presentation of this thing I've called Breadcrumbs in my vibe coding workflow. This is very experimental and still under construction. It's only a few days old, but I wanted to do a video recording because I plan to present this to a few people. There's a few slides that I created just to set the context. I've seen many people start with a specification, so using something like deep research to come up with a specification for a implementation pattern, and then using that specification to do other tasks. And also some people coming up with like TDD or BDD style approach, test-driven development, behavior-driven development. So it uses that to reinforce the model as it tries to implement those tasks, and you use the test as a grounding. The main and the Breadcrumb Protocol works alongside these patterns. It's not meant to replace them. It's another thing in the toolbox that you can use. Now, the main problem that I've found with using some of the vibe coding workflows is there's no real easy way to dynamically amend the plan once the autonomous agent starts doing its thing. It does prompt you to confirm at certain points, but I want to have more control. I want shorter feedback loops, and as the context grows, it depending on the model, your agent might lose what understanding of what's important because it needs to. If it hits the context side, it needs to let something go for something to come in. And it's also hard to see what the agent sees and thinks. By having this common scratchpad for both you and the agent, you kind of control what the agent sees, and you have the same understanding of certain concepts. The other important bit is you can always go back to a point in time that you were happy with using that breadcrumb file and say start from here and let's continue. What I'm trying to do with the breadcrumb protocol is increase the feedback surface area for the agent. So when you increase this, you get shorter feedback iterations, shorter loops. They're meaning more focused items that you want to implement, more focused context that you can use to implement. And you are making small changes at a time and building up. This scratchpad becomes your collaborating surface for understanding at the next steps as well. This is a very crude drawing of what my workflow looks like, and this is very personal. Your workflow might look different. I usually start by creating a spec or using existing spec, and the act of creating a spec will result in a breadcrumb as well, because every action we do results in a breadcrumb. And once that is done, you feed the spec in, use plus your prompts, and first the agent will create the breadcrumb with its plan, then verify the plan and refine it using your input, then use that plan again, short loop here. It uses observations from you or the tests that you have, does the changes, and then updates the breadcrumb as you go, and a final summary at the end. And one of the side effects of this approach is you have this nice breadcrumb markdown file that you can use for your pull requests as well. Anyone reviewing your PR can have a look at that markdown file and understand how you build up the feature set and the changes. So this is the very rudimentary prompt that I've been using for the rules. I put this in the Copilot instructions. You can see how it's very much like how database migrations work. So we're transitioning from states, and we're doing things very much how a database migration runner would. And this is the format that I've asked it to maintain the file in, and you can see that we're using an iterative approach. I will refine this prompt as I go, but this is 3-4 days old, and it's given me good results. That's why I wanted to do the sharing session. the folder structure, all of this sits in a folder called copilot.copilot, and within that you can see there's multiple breadcrumbs because I've done some features already. You can see there's a specification folder as well. This is separate to breadcrumbs, but are broken up into composable little chunks. And the specifications folder is something I've referred to in my rules files, asking the agent to honor. These are going to be like my pillars, how application is built, and this is more like audit trail and thinking and stuff like that. So before I go into the current limitations, I'll just do a quick demo because it's always nice to have a live demo. Right, so I've got a C# .NET, ASP.NET application, and it's I created it using this specification. It's using controllers. It actually refactored an existing older solution, and I used the same pattern to do the refactor, but what I've ended up now with is a simple solution that's got a database and a API and some layers in between. But the important thing I want you to focus on is that the controllers here. So I'm not using minimal APIs in ASP now. I'm using controllers. Now what I wanted to do is actually use the pattern to show you how I would refactor this solution to introduce minimal APIs. And the way I would go about it is I would start a session, and I don't need this. That's my old breadcrumb. What I really need is this file, the main spec. This is my first step is to update the spec, because the spec is kind of your guiding stone. It's like it's the document that defines how your application should look like. So to refine this, I'm going to add the context of the .copilot folder. This is, I think this is a bug in Copilot where you have to actually add this folder. It doesn't automatically pick up for some reason, but that's an orthogonal issue. You don't have to worry about it right now. So we've got the spec. We've got the Copilot folder, which has all of my specifications and breadcrumb folders. So I'm going to ask it to, I want to update the application specification to use ASP.NET minimal API instead of the controllers. Update the spec accordingly with examples. Alright, let's see. So we got the main spec which we want to update, the instructions. Let's see how it does this thing. Alright. So it's found some stuff already. Create a breadcrumb file first to document the change. Alright, hopefully it will create a breadcrumb file now. I'm using Claude 3.7 Sonnet for this. I've just found it to be good enough, but I've heard that Gemini 2.5 is giving people a lot of good results as well. So it started out with creating the breadcrumb, so that's the breadcrumb it's created. So have a look at this. So it's requirements, this is what I told it to do, and it's got the plan, decisions, implementation details. Now you'll see all of these getting updated as it gets more understanding of the code base, but I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm gonna keep this. And now it's going to use that understanding to go and update the specification file. I think it's working through this at the moment. I'll close close this file because I don't need it. And while it's doing that, I'll quickly show you my Copilot instructions. This is where I've asked it to pick up the specifications from, and the breadcrumb protocol is defined here. I've got some other sections which I'm meant to add more rows in, and never got around to it. So it's now going in and updating my specification. See how it's removing all the references to controllers. It's introducing the minimal API pattern. I've got this thing, my own thing called request processes. As you can see, these request processes are simply more like services, and each processor corresponds to an endpoint, and then you instantiate that, you get an instance of that, pass the model to it, the request to it, and get a response back. It's a simple pattern. Pretty sure you've seen it in other places where ASP.NET is being used. Alright, so this looks okay to me, at least for the demo purposes. This is all good. I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to keep it. If I needed changes, I could have done the changes there, or I could have asked the Copilot to do the changes on my behalf. Both options are doable. At any point, I can just stop this and update the instructions as well. So now, once we've done the change, it's going back to the breadcrumb. This is an important point. See how it's updating this with the new understanding or the new context, and yeah, pretty happy. I'm doing this fast for the demo purposes, but otherwise I would have gone through it more carefully. So it's done everything I've wanted it to do. I'm pretty happy. So I'm gonna go done. Right, so that's step one. So what have we done so far? We've updated the specification. We've got a breadcrumb that documents all the things that we did to go and update that specification. So let's see whether it picks the commit message, did application, awesome. So this is going as well as I can expect it to go. Fingers crossed. The demo gods are still happy with me, so I'm going to commit that. Now on to the next step. So the next step is I want to use this specification to actually update the code base. So the main spec is there. I'm going to go add the folder called backend, which is all of where my backend source lives. Just to be sure, I'm going to add the Copilot folder as well. Sorry, I should have done this Copilot thing. Right, so that's adding the Copilot folder, backend folder where the source code is, and we're already in the main specification. Therefore, I can easily just ask it to use, I want to refactor the ASP.NET code base to use minimal API pattern instead of controllers. Use the specification as an example to carry out this task. Right, simple prompt. Let's see what it does. Right, it's doing its thing. What I expect this to do is create a new breadcrumb. Here, I think it started doing it. So this breadcrumb captures what we are now going to do. I don't know why it wants to do this, because it already has access to that folder. This is something I've noticed with Copilot, that it sometimes doesn't use the tools that are available to it. It rather prefers to use the command line. Right, at least it's creating the file. So this is a file. So it created So refactor, this is what I asked it to do, following the application architecture while maintaining refactored input. Yeah, pretty happy. Gonna keep it. So at any point, right, I could have simply paused this, updated this, and asked it to continue with the updated breadcrumb as well. It's easy enough to do. Now it's going through the controllers that it's found in the solution, and it's reading through the controllers to figure out what the API endpoints are. What is it doing? Understand the controller structure, similar pattern. Now check the program.cs file, because it needs to go and update the program.cs file to include the mapping. Use the map get methods, etc. It'll open it in a second. I'm pretty impressed by the fact that it got the steps correctly. Even if it didn't, I could have gone and updated it. See how, as the understanding evolves, it goes through the breadcrumb and updates it, the findings there, which is something I really like. This is like working with a human, doing pair programming, and having similar area to write down your notes. Right, pretty happy with this. Again, I could have added my own thoughts and asked it to update its understanding based on the file. Not doing it for brevity at the moment. Right. Oh, it's actually doing something which I haven't seen it do before. So it's gonna use the extension methods to create groupings of resource types, which is fine, but it's not something I explicitly called out. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. What is it doing here? Alright, nice. Nice. I would have thought putting all of this in the program.cs is good enough, but well, it clearly is a better engineer than I am when it comes to grouping things and making things more readable. Has it updated the minimal APIs breadcrumb? No, not yet. That's fine. Just gonna close this one and this one. Sorry, did I accidentally close something? So it's updating the program CS now. So it's removed the controllers. Yes, that's good. Models and yeah, awesome. This is really nice. Now it does want to do a .NET build to ensure that it's okay. Why is it building? I know why. I deleted this test project before. I manually deleted it. I probably shouldn't have done that. That's okay. But let's try to do it. Let's see whether it picks it up. If not, I know it's easy enough to build it. That's it. Complaining about. Right. Maybe it'll figure it out. Let's see. Let's give it a chance. Main issue is a type mismatch. Yeah, I think it's trying to do a cast from. Trying to do a boxing unboxing, and it's getting it wrong. It's okay. Let's see how it fixes it. Right. Okay. Let's try to do Sting. And the reason why the build failed before is because it's referring to tests, which yes, I guess it must have fixed it because I can't see it in here anymore. That's good. Right, this is okay. Let's keep this too, and let's try to do a .NET build. All of this is actually, where's this? Did I keep the changes on this one as well? Keep. Alright, continue. I don't know why this checkbox isn't working, but let's continue. Alright, passed. So it's building. I guess next step is to run it. Right, let's see whether this works. Hopefully it should start up. Alright. Unable to find required services. Yeah, I know what this error is. So it's doing this, it's got this line called use authorization, but before it can use authorization, it needs to build the services add authorization, which it removed before. I've seen this happen before, but it's smart enough to go and figure it out and fix it. So let's see what it does. Now, this is a good example of how resilient it is. What's it doing? Okay, so say it's going on a tangent now, so I'm gonna stop it, right? I'm gonna undo this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna instruct it. The reason why the build failed is because, actually, rather than doing that, might be easier to just add it here. So builder dot services add auth add is it authorize add authentication and gee can't remember this now, but let's try to the reason why Let's see whether it goes and figures it out. Let's see whether it's going in and updating the breadcrumb. That's good. It's interesting to see what it will do in the additional comments from the user. Yeah, that's good. So it put that in the additional comments because I gave it extra feedback. So this is a good example of how you can pause it, give it more input before letting it continue. I know it takes more time than a one-shot approach of asking to go and change the files, but in the long run, this discipline will allow you to recover better from hallucination type situations where your agent goes on a tangent. Yes. Yep. Keep. Right. Should now go and update the program.cs. Okay. Fingers crossed. There you go. Builder services. I swear I was trying to do this before. Alright. Now it should work. Alright, let's do this. What's error? Okay, it is looking for car rental solution. It's looking, oh yeah, I know what the problem is. It's this. I deleted this project manually, the folder. Yeah, so it's bypassing the solution and it's trying to build just the backend, which is fine. We'll let it do its thing. So this is my mistake. I deleted the project without updating the solution. So now it's built just the API and it's trying to run the API now. So let's open this in the browser. Let's drag this in here. So I'm going to go to the Swagger endpoint. And let's go to vehicles and try this out. Execute. There you go. We've got everything here, so the refactor succeeded. I'm pretty happy with this. Now for the solution, I'm just going to delete this because I don't need the rentals. Sorry, I don't need the test project. Oh, oops. Project. Yes, that one. I think that's it. Never had to edit this file by hand before, often. So now let's see what this has done. So it's created breadcrumb. So let's have a look. So these are my asks, planning, the additional comments that I told it to do, decisions and findings and implementation plan. And if you go to the program.cs, sorry, let's open it on the actual thing, program.cs, see how it's done the required changes, remove the controllers, just post this, and added the endpoints. One thing I think it missed doing, which I actually ask it to do now, I don't think it deleted the controller files. See? So I'm gonna bring it back, open the chat, go back to that session, this one, and I'm gonna tell it, you didn't delete the delete the controllers. Can you do it? So summarize, we've got everything working, but it didn't delete this controllers folder. I want it to delete it because we are not using those controllers anymore. Oh, I forgot to add the folder. Darn it. So it's actually posted. I'll add context of the backend folder, backend, and just do it again. Controller. Just no unused. Let's do this. Got a spelling mistake. Hopefully it recognizes my mistake. Let's see what it does. It's going and updating the, yeah, there you go, additional comments from the user, delete controllers. Okay, fine. It should now run a command in the CLI to delete the controllers. Continue. There's two more controllers. Oh, sorry. Two more controllers. It should delete them. Models controller. One more, vehicles controller. Yes. Alright, cool. Let's get rid of the controllers. The folder's still there, which I don't really care about. I can get rid of that myself. I don't want to do the build again, and I'm pretty sure it works because we did it before. So I'm just gonna get rid of the folder which doesn't have anything inside. And looking at the changes, got rid of the controllers, added the endpoint groupings, extension methods, and then use those extension methods in here. Pretty awesome, if you ask me. And we've got this nice side effect of the breadcrumb, which you can use as a pull request review. So summarizing all we've done, we've created specifications, used the specifications to continue with the next task, and breadcrumbs all along the way. Some of the limitations is we had to add the Copilot folder to the context. I think it's a bug in Copilot, to be honest, rather than anything we've done. Sometimes it's over eager. We didn't see it here, but it sometimes tries to go beyond what you've asked it to do. So you can just pause it like I showed you and add additional context through comments. And when you sometimes do that, unless you pause it, update the file and give it a new instruction, it might not immediately pick up the changes you've done to the scratchpad, the breadcrumb. So make sure you pause it, do the change and ask it to continue from there. That's a recording. hopefully that has been useful. Some form of this pattern, if not the same pattern as is, might be something you want to try out. Let me know how you go. Thank you.